This is Brian Albright. Welcome to the Digital Engineering 24/7 podcast. Today we're going to talk about collaboration. The need for collaboration has never been greater, but the use of disparate design and simulation platforms has traditionally been a challenge in the engineering space. So today we're talking to Prasad Mandava, the co-founder and CEO, about the VCollab solution and how technology can help improve this situation. Welcome to the podcast, Prasad.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me here.
Well, as I said, companies increasingly rely on more frequent and more complex simulation in the design process. Can you describe some of the challenges that this trend has posed for folks doing simulation and analysts within these types of organizations?
Sure. You're right. The products are becoming extremely complex. We know that they're being electrified. If you look at the automotive industry, and they're becoming autonomous. And the not just the analysts, the companies as well as the analysts are facing a number of challenges driven by these new requirements and the new complexity. I think I will classify the challenges into three categories. One is the resource demand. Other is the improving the efficiencies, look at those inefficient portions. And lastly, improving the communications, how the simulations can be used to do better design decisions. So in the area of the resource demand, we have found that most leading companies, and if you look at their product development processes, they are being significantly, they are reducing the amount of physical testing, and now they're relying on much more on the digital testing, and this is for real. We see this happening particularly in the last 2 to 3 years. So I wrote recently a blog on this topic. It's available on our website. But the result is a significant increase in demand for the simulations without the corresponding increase in the simulation resources. So now simulation analysts are faced with challenges of running a lot more simulations to capture this variation, because you're eliminating the testing and studying them. All this activity is producing enormous amount of data, and this is posing a new challenge, because you're running so many simulations and producing so much data. How do you make sense out of that to make a design decision? So in the area of efficiency, if you look at it, and many companies are still burdened with the old 2D processes. For example, if you look at a simulation, report generation process, which it looks like that is consuming almost 30% of the simulation expert's time, doing a very low value and repeatable task. I remember when I was a analyst, 20, 25 years back, I used to open in the results file, go to post processor, click, write on a paper, go to the PowerPoint, put the boxes, type in. That 2D process still remained the same.
Mm-hmm.
Is literally consuming now 30% of the analyst time, and for the analysts, this means, they still produce the 2D PowerPoint slides as their CA report to convey the results of their simulation studies. So this puts analysts they have to go through a very time-consuming process of selecting the most meaningful results, and then cut and copy and paste those images into PowerPoint slides. And these deck of slides are shared with the stakeholders. And now another problem comes. What happens in almost all the cases is the stakeholders request, can I have one more additional slide? Now, analyst has to go back and do the whole post-processing to produce another static slide. So this is another big challenge that we see happening in the companies. And now the third challenge for companies is the communication. How they're communicating these simulation results with the stakeholders. When there was a physical testing, all these years, I believe people used to ask questions. They used to rely on the testing and say, okay, if the testing is passed, let's go for manufacturing. Now, if the moment you take out that luxury, obviously this puts a lot of pressure on people like to review the results, and the nature of the 2D static images which make up the simulation report today is being exposed, and is not enough for stakeholders and the design reviews to make design decisions. This is another communication challenge that we see companies are facing, and they're feeling that there's a need to digitally transform this whole 2D process in the simulation game.
Well, can you describe then how the VCollab solution helps with these problems, and how does it actually work?
Sure. So VCollab provides a number of capabilities which directly address the critical challenges that companies face with this new simulation requirements. So what we did was when we looked at this pipeline, a decade ago, working with these companies, so we noticed that results. I'm talking about the results to the decision pipeline. That's where VCollab plays a role, and we identified a lot of bottlenecks, and we tried to we removed and we provided a solution. So VCollab, to start with, automates this whole process of post processing, results processing, and then creating the simulation reports in PowerPoint. We just talked about it. So that means this eliminates the requirement for analysts to create this whole PowerPoint slide decks for their customers. So this is one of the major contributions we try to do. Eliminate, look at this 30% of the time and try to automate that process. Now, with the VCollab's automation capabilities, analysts can quickly develop templates on their own for those repeatable tasks, because this task is very repeatable. So using these templates, simulation reports are created in a matter of minutes as opposed to multiple days of analyst time. And that are required with today's 2D reports. Now, the instead of lengthy process of extracting the CAE post-process results, so manually generating the correct views for the results and then copying and pasting those images into the PowerPoint slide, VCollab integrates the post-processing and reporting into one common process. And the end result is, if VCollab is implemented properly, the analyst would see that they don't spend this kind of a manual repeatable process anymore. They run the solver, they get the report that they want. In addition to the gains in the efficiency, VCollab also, as I mentioned earlier a little bit, changes the way the 2D process. We produce a digital CA report from this automation. So which helps the people, for example, when they go to a design review, they ask a question, hey, what's the value on the other side? It's very inefficient process today because they don't have it. Sometimes they postpone the meeting to make the decision. So this way, VCollab, as the automation process, is producing a high fidelity 3D digital report. I think that is helping these companies to make a faster design decisions. So these are the areas I think VCollab is helping them.
And how is this different from there are other automation or reporting solutions out there? What would you say are the key differentiators?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So, as you know, the traditional automation tools, producers, again, they live in they have been producing the 2D slide decks. That's a two-dimensional paradigm, right? So, VCollab is a 3D digital transformation solution that provides a very common environment to address this issue. That's the number one option. So, for a company who wants to invest in simulation, it obviously makes sense because the dollar you invest in VCollab, we not only automate, but at the same time, we're helping these companies to digitally transform the definition of a 2D report to a three-dimensional report. In the process, they can use that to make much more quicker decisions, much faster design decisions. It's easy to share. So these are the aspects that VCollab brings in.
And you talked about the efficiency improvements. What types of benefits do customers typically see? Are we strictly talking about time savings? What other types of improvements are they seeing?
All right. I think we contribute primarily at the top level, two important areas. As I discussed earlier, you know, um, the they're spending 30% of the analyst time in creating this post processing and reports. We are giving it back to the company. So in the process, so there's a tremendous efficiency gain. These analysts can spend their time in doing more simulations. That's one of the significant efficiency improvement we offer. Customers are seeing we offer. Secondly, as I mentioned, this automation, we are also able to produce a digital CA report, which means, as we know, we saw the digital transformation happening long back from a drawing board into 3D CAD. Then in the PLM world, there's a CAD model being the blueprint, model-based engineering. But again, in the simulation world, the whole reporting remained 2D. So VCollab automation produces a digital CA report using which now it makes analyst life easy because they're able to, if somebody says, hey, can you give me an extra slide? It's very easy for them to edit it. In fact, when the automation produces only a 2D report, as you know, there's no way analysts can validate it, or even stakeholders can validate it because it's a 2D slide. Now, with the digital report, they're able to review, they're able to validate, and again, using the design review process, they're able to make much faster design decisions. So one of our customers recently, GK in automotive, they gave us a case study that they clearly defined some of the benefits that they're achieving. It is there on our website, but just to list some of them, they said increase the usefulness of information shared in 3D simulation reports. So reduce the potential for error. This is another big thing, right? Because it's all manual process, you could have missed a hotspot. And while typing, you would have typed the value wrong. With automation, you eliminate the human error, the potential to make a human error, and saves analyst time while increasing the efficiency, and then provide greater design insight to the stakeholders. Now, stakeholders are able to see not only, hey, this is the failure point in 2D, now they're able to rotate, they're able to zoom in, they're able to play animation, they see how the product is actually functioning, and that gives them a better idea to change the design and provide improve the design comparison capabilities. This is another unique capability we provided. Now, as the simulation is being used more and more, there's a lot of variation. You do some simulation, you change the design, you do it again. You like to compare these designs. So VCollab excels in that and provide more meaningful end user reports, simplified access to the simulation reports to the stakeholders, and then increase speed and confidence in the critical decision making. In a nutshell, VCollab is helping companies in terms of the efficiency, and most importantly, in making much faster and quicker design decisions with the digital transformation and the 3D digital reports.
Right, and that's important because you don't want to just go faster. You want quality, and you also want usability, and that's what this seems appears to give everyone.
Absolutely, with the less human errors. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for chatting with us today, Prasad.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Thanks for the opportunity.